Hello, Scapers. Hopefully I didn't leave that too long. I'm trying to go back in my memory on how long that animation lasts. Hello, welcome to the stream. It's lovely to see you. It's been a while since I've been on here, and it's lovely to be back. Welcome to a multi-JMod Tea Time Madness special thing, where we've got JMods from around the team here to talk a little bit about what's going on with the teams, what we're working on. Just give you a little peek into our world, really. This is going to be quite a long one. We expect it to run over an hour. We have a lot of guests to get through. So bear with us. For those of you who have never dropped by a tea time, what the hell is that? This is a casual series where we chat to mods from across the team about their work at the studio. So over the course of today, you're going to hear from JMods related to lore, to combat, to skilling, design, even QA. And each will get about their own 20 minutes in the sun, hopefully with a bit of time for Q&A in the middle of each of their sections. What can you expect from today? This isn't an RS ahead. Like, we're not going to be dropping big bombshell announcements. But you will get a little window into what's going on at the studio. You might get to know about projects that you might not know we're working on, but we are. That sort of stuff. And also, we've got artists involved, which means we have some glorious artwork to show you to give you some few more sneak peeks as well. What are you going to do? You got artists involved, it's going to happen. But really, today, it's about checking in with the team, seeing what's ahead of us. And, you know, I expect many of you are here because you're probably a little bit concerned. We've had some recent news about job reductions recently. We haven't had any major updates or announcements to share beyond the roadmap we've been fulfilling since RuneFest. So we just want to check in. We want to get in front of you to talk to you, let you know a little bit about who's leading the future of RuneScape, and just really check in with you. So everyone on the stream and back at the studio believes there's a big future for RS3. It's the reason we're all here, and we're all mega excited about where we're going. And I hope today we can share a little bit about some of that with you through what we talk about. So with that said, you'll notice it's not just me sitting here talking to you at camera. My co-host for this evening is also RuneScape's new design director, a storied RuneScape developer who many of you already know. Hello, Mod Ryan.
Hello. I was going to say nice to meet you. That's definitely not. I was going to say I've met you a long time ago. That's not a new thing.
That's a bit worrying, yeah. It's nice to have you on here, mate. Yeah, I guess there might be people out there who haven't come across you. I'd be surprised if there's not. For those who might not have seen you before somehow, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, history with the RuneScape, with the team?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I guess thank you to the chat. But yeah, so who am I? You'll know me as, well, yes, Mod Ryan. I've worked on, so I played RuneScape for over 20 years. I started back in 2004, and I've worked on RuneScape since 2013, I think, so over 10 years. Yeah, pretty much RuneScape is my life, so that's a pretty good resume for this job role. When it comes to sort of what I'm responsible for, I can talk a bit to that if you'd like, Hooli.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
What does the design director mean?
For sure, yeah. What does the design director do? That's a very good question. And I guess I'll give you the details that is more important to you guys as players. Essentially, it's my responsibility to sort of I look after the amazingly talented design team, and we work together on figuring out, what content to add to the game. But more specifically, my role is about defining that sort of vision for the game alongside other directors, like the art director, product director, and essentially kind of figure out what the game is, where do we want to go, how can we do that, and essentially what content does that make up, what is that made up of. So I am responsible for things like the roadmap alongside other people, but these are sort of my core responsibilities. So figuring out what goes on it with the help of my team, and ultimately trying to shape the game in the direction that we want to take it, which I can talk more to today. I mean, Hooli said no big bomb drops. There's no guarantees that I do not say something I shouldn't, and there's no guarantees that any of our lovely designers and artists in the stream don't say anything they shouldn't. That's okay. But yeah, when it comes to sort of like what I'm here to do, and I think equally what I want to do here, essentially, what do I offer to this role? I think is an important thing to mention. So I did mention I played the game for so long and worked on the game. So I think that comes with a lot of experience and sort of knowledge and insights into the game. I played RuneScape through its generations, which I think is very important. Something sort of my vision and a shared vision we have at the moment is we want to bring the glory days back. We want to move back growth. We want to bring RuneScape to the heights. When I was growing up, we talked about RuneScape on the playground. We want to bring RuneScape back. really talk about it, make it that game we're all proud to play, all proud to talk about, really thrive on that. And what does that mean? So essentially to bring that game back, like sort of that status back to the game, we've got to work on things like we understand there are some core problems with the game. I mean, just to name a few, we know there are problems with, say, maybe like new players getting into the game or returners. Some of the most obvious ones may be to do with things like the top level UI. Equally, things like the first time
Say the word, Bart.
Wait, which word? Which word are we saying?
you know the word.
And wait, you threw me off. One sec.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But essentially, back to our roots. Yeah, game health is super important to us. We want to make this game thrive, and that involves not only like a stellar roadmap with fresh new content, but equally looking at what we've done in the game over the years that. Oh, I'm still here. Okay. Damn, that was not part of my vision for the game. I'm back. Okay, as long as... Can you hear me? Oh, they can hear me. I'll carry on while Hooli's gone. As long as that's good, chat. I'll pay attention to you guys. Cool. This is my stream now. Perfect. Let's talk as much as we like about anything. Right. I'll lock in. Thank you. Yes. So we're talking about vision for the game. I truly love this game, and I'm here to work. The team truly love this game. We're here to make this game the best it can be. Working with you guys as players, and how can we achieve that? We have a clear mission ahead of us. Growing RuneScape community significantly over the next 3-5 years and beyond. There's a lot of major moves happening to do this. It's too early to speak now about some things, but it is the singular vision driving everything. We will address the topic of, I guess I saw it already in the chat, but we will address the topic of MTX directly. It is a big thing of not only myself, what it is that with MTX in our game. Like we know that there are issues with that, and we want to address some of those things. We've had ongoing investigations over, say, the last year regarding MTX, and essentially the next time you hear from us is probably the time in which we're going to talk about actions that we're taking. And Hooli, if you're back, are you back, Hooli? Rough timeline?
I am.
Do you have a rough timeline?
Yeah. So the reality is there is a timeline. Look. I'm sorry we've been very silent on this, and you deserve that apology. There was all the right intention and ambition last year from the team, and that work has continued through that time. I know you've seen me put a few Reddit comments out there recently. We haven't been able to provide any update of substance because of the amount of detail and work that's going into that. And we are at a point where I think we want to break out that science of just letting you know that we are getting close and we're moving to it. Nothing has stopped, and right now it is provisional, right? And I want to say this because we've had false dawns, we've had false starts. We are currently a few weeks away from the point where we think we can tell you our meaningful next actions we're going to take on that front. And even Mod Ryan saying the word, as I was making the meme about earlier, is an indication of just how close we are. And the thing is that all things going well, you're only a few weeks from hearing the update you've been waiting for on what we're going to do next.
Yeah, I have one more thing
to add for you, Ryan.
Yeah, that's good. I have one more thing to add, and then I will take the sideline, and you can speak to our lovely other developers. But just a note on the roadmap. So the last thing you guys saw for the roadmap would have been at RuneFest, or just before RuneFest. No, it was at RuneFest. RuneFest reveal about our 2026 roadmap. We, of course, into 2027. There are plenty of awesome opportunities that we have and things we're planning to do in 2026's roadmap that we will get to in due time. Havenhythe, as you all know, is one part of that, but it is just part of that. As I mentioned, we are looking at other things alongside that, other content, really getting back to our roots. So, Mod Shrike might talk a bit on this later, but things like going into looking at more non-story quests, not just following the main storyline. Maybe you get another dwarf quest, maybe you'll get another gnome quest. And equally, we're looking at the feasibility of kind of unshelving some of those updates. We know you are... Wait, Hooli's putting his head in his hands. Maybe I shouldn't.
Oh,
But yeah.
just you said Gnome Quest out loud. I'm like, no.
Oh no, is
It's
that
not.
bad?
It's not an announcement. It's just like you said. I'm going to hear about that for the next year, and
But
that's
yeah.
good. If you want it, we should know about it. But
just another example. Just things we're looking to unshelve. No guarantees yet, but things like the player avatar refresh, something we want to be looking at. But yeah, you'll have to wait for more information on that. I've probably said too much, and Liam's really
I'm going to be a little bit more spoilery. Yeah, let's say it right. Player avatar refresh is something we are actively working on. It is not something we can confirm today, but later in the stream we'll give you a little bit of an update with the art team on some of the exploratory work we're doing. It's clear in your surveys and everything that we need to be looking at this and trying to find a way to do it. And I'll let the beautiful artist later talk to you about that and about the work that's going on to see if we can do that. Not a confirmation yet. I want to stress that, but hopefully maybe in a future RS ahead or some other announcement we can confirm if we've been successful. But at the very least, it's not sitting on a shelf, not being touched anymore. And yeah, it's a pretty exciting time. I know I'm seeing chat go in, pretty excited for that. So excited for it. Right, we have plenty to get through. We've already overrun, so this is going well. We're going to go next to our lovely lore team, where myself and Mod Ryan will be talking to Mod Shrike and Mod. Oh my God, I don't have your name up. Is it Mod Rally? It's Mod Rally. Yes, I was just checking. Don't want to start doxing people on the stream. We'll be talking to Mod Shrike and Mod Rally just in a second. And that's a second, and here we are with the lovely lore team. Say hello to Mod Shrike and Mod Rally. Mod Rally, Mod Shrike, do you want to say hello? Introduce yourselves.
Do you want to go first, Shrike?
Yeah, can do. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Mod Shrike, narrative designer for RuneScape 3.
And yeah, I'm Mod Rowley. Rowley is fine too. It's all good. I am principal narrative designer on RuneScape 3.
Amazing. So obviously you guys are part of a team of lore custodians. I know we couldn't fit everyone on the stream today. What's going on in the world of lore? Like, where are your heads at? What are you? Where's kind of the focus of the lore team these days?
Right. Let me field that one first. I see there's a great comment there. Rowley's back. I've never been away. I've just been more behind the scenes, taking a bit more of a visible role going forward. Very much looking forward to that. But yeah, like for me recently, there's been a lot going on. I'm sure maybe Shrike can talk about this more, so I'll leave this for her. But being involved very much with the Desert series, right? Something that's been very close to my heart. Started working on that, I think 15 years ago, and seeing it come to a conclusion now is really exciting. But very much that's Mod Zero and Mod Shrike's project. I've just been that kind of guiding hand in the background. But more personally for me, I've been working on Havenhythe. Obviously, can't go into details yet. It's early days, but putting together some narrative design for the space, and people working on that project are really hyped. Very much looking forward to seeing that one come to fruition.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, like, what does it bring, the opportunity to go to a new area in terms of lore? Like, how does it change versus what we're doing today, where we're kind of going back to known areas, things that we're experiencing already, and kind of adding to? What's the kind of main differences in what you're working on and how it kind of affects the way you approach lore and think about what stories you could tell?
It's something of a fresh start. So the way I'm kind of viewing it is the island is a bit like a TTRPG campaign, right? We're fleshing out what's on this island and what players might be able to discover over time. But we're going to let the updates and the story and the players tell us the bits that they want to explore more. So it's just peeling back the layers a bit over time, but also in a refresh in the sense that it's new ground. Like we can bring in some old ideas as well that we haven't really touched on in other quest series and other content. We can take an opportunity to tell different types of stories, right? We're not held up, but like when you've got a quest series that's established, especially something that's originated with developers who are back in the old days, right? The OG, and they've left ideas and we've carried them and tried to finish off those original thoughts and stories. Now we also have a bit of a blank canvas to run with too, so we can get those newer ideas, fresher ideas too. And we're also, specifically with Havenhythe, trying to respect the past a bit and get back to those old feelings of RuneScape, like those early days of exploring this unknown expanse and those cozy vibes that people love so much. So looking forward to that.
Good. Yeah, me too. I know very little about the lore because I'm trying to stay away from spoilers on Havenhythe, so I don't know what you're cooking up. So I'm excited. You got me hyped. Shrike, obviously, Mod Hooli mentioned that obviously you're working on Desert Quest series. We've got the finale coming up. How are you feeling about everything? No pressure, seeing out an iconic quest series, I'm guessing?
So yeah, that's mine and Zura's current project. Zura's leading it. Zura is currently working on a whole pile of cutscenes and voice acting and getting a whole load of spice in, which is really cool. It's going well. It's coming together really nicely. I think we're all very happy with it so far. It is scary because it's a big storyline and it's one that we've been trying to finish for a while. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's starting to come together. It's yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know what else I can say about that.
Yeah, this is always the funny thing about talking about lore is it's such a passion piece for so many people, but you all have to dance around spoilers, whereas everyone else has to just dance around not saying the wrong thing at the wrong time and committing things too early. Oh God bless you. What about, like, is there anything to the heart to talk in general, like senses that you're particularly excited about, like a theme or maybe a hint you can give us at something that doesn't spoil anything, but is to you is like that little moment that you're really excited for people to see? I don't know how you do that without spoilers.
I have no idea how I'm going to say this without spoilers. If Zura might hate me for this. I'm very excited to see people's reactions to graphical reworked characters that we're putting in. I've been using them in some scenes I've been writing and putting together, and it's just really exciting to see them. Very long overdue reworks that are just looking absolutely fantastic. Yeah, voice acting. Like I said, we've got multiple characters who are fully voice acted, which is always really fun to do. I know Zura had a lot of fun doing voice direction fairly recently to get that all sorted out. And yeah, just I don't want to say home stretch because it's I don't want to jinx it, but we're almost there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited, and we'll get to do a nice little kind of reveal campaign for it, and then still try not to spoil anything whilst giving people a window into it. So I'm looking forward to it. What are we thinking outside? Obviously, we're coming to an end of a quest line, and obviously we have Havenhythe coming up. Are we thinking about anything beyond that? I know Mod Ryan decided to go on a rogue series of name drops, but like, what do you think about? Is there any chance for stories outside of Havenhythe, or like what do you think kind of is the future of questing, I guess?
Can I pick that one up, Riley?
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, just building on what Ryan said about non-story quests. This is not a new focus, but something that we're going to be putting refreshed focus on. Basically including quests that are outside whatever main storyline it is we're working on. So more bottle quests, more standalones. I think Duck Quest was a nice example of that, but there are other ones currently being worked on. Eagle-eyed people may have spotted I think it was in the RuneFest roadmap, that there is space for a quest between Eclipse of the Heart and the Havenhythe ones. That's going to, can I say?
Can you say which one it is? Is that what you're
asking? Am I allowed to say which one it is?
I mean, I don't mind. You just, yeah,
go
for it. Why not?
Yeah, that's going to be Mod Luma's Star Sprite quest. So
Amazing.
Including things like that, to let other devs make quests and to get a broader range of stories into the game. Yeah, it should be exciting.
Marketing team, if you're watching, you're watching, marketing team, I'm so sorry, but I couldn't say no. Okay.
Oh no, my Slack's blown up. I'm getting it.
Sorry.
The ninjas are coming. Yeah, good. Look, I'm conscious of the time to make sure we can take some questions on lore within the realms of what might be possible to answer. Before I do, Shrike, Rowley, is there anything else you want to tell people about the future of questing, of lore, of anything that's top of mind for you that you want to tell players as you kind of take the future forward of our storytelling?
Lots of plans, lots of ideas. So narrative design is my route, so I'm really excited to be getting back to it. And I've come, like, with all these ideas, I'm sure that Shrike and Zura and Stu are sick of me saying it, but I've got a bunch of narrative design initiatives, basically. where I'm looking for us to like, I appreciate that Ryan's coming in with this too, with this suggestion of let's do some non-story quests as well. And to clarify, by that we mean we've got like an ongoing storyline, but we can have room for offshoots and one-offs as well. And to encourage more of those voices, those early RuneScape ideas that just let people go away and do their own thing a little bit, but to do it with more foresight, more coherence, not promising a city with every quest series. That's thinking. But there's 101 things that I'd love to do. So it's picking that direction first, the priority basically, and that's where we want the players to be involved, to tell us what they want to see us do. I'd love to finish 5th Age series. We're making good strides with that finally over the years. It's taken a long time, but yeah, there's some series to finish off. There's some hanging threads, say with Moya, with the fort, and then there's of course the new Havenhythe storyline we're working on, and more behind the scenes. I'm looking to find ways that we can like make our jobs a little bit not easier, but like more efficient, so that we can cut out the bureaucracy and the red tape and put more of that content out that players like, and more of the content that we want to work on as well. So there's 101 ideas, but give me more, please, and we'll run with it, and we'll go where you want us to go. Looking forward to it.
Shrike, anything you want to add? Thank you, Ali.
I don't know if there's anything else to add to that. Like, my main, I think, motivation coming on the stream is basically to reassure the lore community that there is still a very active and very passionate lore council working on stories. We are still thinking ahead. We are still working our damned hardest to deliver good stories to you. So we're still here. We're still here and we're doing good work. So looking forward to seeing what we can do over the next few years.
Well said. Right. Anyone got a few questions? We have just a few minutes with the lore team here. Has anyone got any lore-based questions specifically for the lore team whilst we're here? Lots of love in chat for the direction and what you're doing. Thanks for all the lovely messages, by the way. Sending love to the lore team for this. It's really good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's worth clarifying who exactly is on the lore council, because I've seen something.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
it's Rowley is principal, in charge, de facto head of the lore council. Stu, Zura, myself, and we've got Ed from Old School. We've got Raven on Dragon Wilds, and we've got Errol, who works on everything. I think she's all over the place.
It's a good group. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and KOC, who is currently one of the producers, but also very involved in lore stuff as well.
Also, the word council for the lore council is the most appropriate use of the word council we have for our councils. I've said council a lot, so I love it. It sounds so like Lord of the Ringsy, like with this, we must get the council together. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent.
The council must convene.
There was one question about just gnomes. Lots of mentions of gnomes. Someone did ask Zaros ?
I'll tackle the one if it's the Bendos question about gnomes and just old storylines. Yeah, like I've been working on a design for, say, Amateur Workshop to bring that to a close for a long time. None of this is promises, of course, right? Like, if there's any number of things we can do, like, let's make the right decisions and the ones that players want us to see. And gnomes is in there too. I'd love to see that finish, but we will come up with a good design, a good plan, and we'll see when it's the appropriate time. And Zaros ? Yeah, I mean, we'll see. No plans.
Loud question mark. We'll leave it there.
typical lore council answer is like, yeah, whatever. Can't say anything.
Amazing. Lore team, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Obviously, don't forget you can go over to the RuneScape Discord. There's a lovely lore section where these lovely folks usually hang out and say hello anyway. If you are passionate about the story and the lore, please go head on over. There's also loads of amazing sub-communities out there for lore that you can go discover as well. But big thanks to Mod Shrike, Mod Rowley for joining us. Thanks both. I guess I'll see you in a bit. I look over here, by the way, because that's where their windows are, and I just realised that's really weird for you. But so next up, we have a very special guest. I'm very delighted to be welcoming them on to show a lot of art and all beautiful things. It is Mod Anti, as we go look at a bunch of concept art and talk about what the artist team here are working on.
Wow, look how fast
this is ridiculous. We've upped our transition. I'm very impressed for how quickly our stream transitions happen now. Big shout out to Mod Hooli. Not used to it. Hello, Mod Auntie. Welcome to the stream.
Hey everyone. I will do a little intro. I am Associate Art Director of RuneScape. I have been working with all of these lovely people and the stream for getting close to 16 years. I started as a humble character artist back in the day, and I have been, traveling upward and taking the journey on with the rest of the crew. And today I'm here to talk about concept art, and specifically Havenhythe is the first item what we have. So yeah, I was just thinking I will share some details, some stuff what we haven't shared before about these. And
Go for it. And I have to say, it's a pleasure to have you on as well. And I know you represent a whole bunch of artists who we'd love to have join, and credit to all them for this. You're one of many, I know, so that have been working with us for a long time. It's lovely to have you on. And from there, I'm going to shut up and let you take the floor, because I think you have plenty to get through.
yeah, so I will try to burst through these. We have quite a bit, but for on this one, for example, what you see, it's done by Mod Barker. It's an exploration of the first days construction constructs what we are planning to have on Havenhythe, scattered across, and areas what you can explore while you just basically adventure on the land. And as you can see, you're trying to figure out like architecture, like how this is going to work, how this could look nice in terms of showing you transition, between different environments, and also give you like a little how to describe that, a nice transition, like a nice little tailored transition between areas within the game. Yeah, and I think that would be all about this one. There will be much more we are going to share about, the different sites you can explore. But this one is a very exciting one. It's always very nice to have these things explored, to just think about cultures and civilizations. And when you create those within a game, building words is just like, it's number one, my favorite thing. And I'm pretty sure Ryan agrees that it's one big one for him as well, when you can actually go out creatively and start something from almost scratch.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just for people in the room, obviously, I don't know if you want to explain a bit, just like briefly about the process here, because this is an exploration piece. So some people may be looking at this thinking, oh, this is what they're going to get. I don't know if you want to speak to like a slight bit of detail to that.
Yes, well, yes, so stuff what we are showing here, these are very experimental and work in progress. So I can't say and can't guarantee anything that you are going to see these 100% in the game, but these are very much going to be foundational for everything what you are seeing in there. So yeah, these are very, very important explorations.
I'm trying to do my best. I'm controlling this chat. I'll do my best to not overcut the incredible artwork here.
Yeah, this is just a very small part of what we are planning to have. Like, I can't say much about this, but this might have a very, very big importance in the quest. And
Inside
similar.
information. Get ahead.
Yeah, the next one, I think we might have shared this one before. Like, this is the very first area where you enter this space, and we wanted to create something very nice and very pleasant for you when you get here. A place very wholesome and very I think wholesome is the best word for it. Like, very nicely set up, live-in, colorful, very pleasant kind of seaside place where you can explore, talk with different characters, and start your adventure in this new landmass what we are planning to release.
It sounds like my internet connection is destroying the beauty of the art a little bit when I move, so I'll try not to move. Let me know if it's fine once it stops moving. Apologies. This is why I haven't been able to play on stream for a while for similar reasons.
This is an exploration of how how outside the little starting area you would be seeing, like, the environments, like maybe little fields, little farms, farmsteads scattered around the land. We are really trying to create something what you haven't really seen to the same scale before, like having such narration and visual design and everything brought together in a way that you can actually like it actually feels like something what could exist, makes cohesive sense all around, and it just creates you a very nice tailored environment. And I can share that our main artist on this project at the moment is actually Mod Blackfish, so you will probably see a lot of her artworks coming out in the near future. Most of the concept artwork you are looking at is by Mod Barker.
I was going to ask. There was a question in chat. Is the Northern Italy an inspiration for this? Are you using any real-world locations to kind of build this vision of this kind of fantasy take on something? Is there a region of the world we're particularly looking to? Multiple?
Yeah, the short of it is yes to all of that. Every single time when we exploring any sort of visuals, we are thinking about what we have on the plate in terms of design aims and how we would be able to best serve that visually. And number one thing we usually go for real life references. That comes to any sort of cultural references, be that, as I said, civilizations, architecture of civilizations, and of course geographic like spaces all over the globe. And yeah, you will probably see quite a few examples of concept art or just visuals which look very much like Cornwall, for example. Very nice seaside with different types of biomes, very wholesome. You have your rocks, you have your green pastures, you have your rolling hills, all that beautiful stuff which makes you feel great going there.
Amazing. Oh, this stuff. When I saw it today, I was like, "Oh, I've not seen this yet." It was so exciting.
Yeah, so I have to apologize because these images are not in of order of any sort of, I didn't sort this, so there is a little bit of a bounce around. Now this is flipping the whole thing on its head, because you can see that the vibe of these images and visuals are very, very different to what you've seen before. Like, this is not your wholesome, tea time kind of vista. What you see here, you can see that there is something building, and these environments are not as friendly as what you have seen before. And I can't really tell much more about that, but I think the title is very very speaking for what is happening here. So yeah, as you can see, like, you will have your adventures in this land, and you will definitely be exploring in a way that you will be in this transition between different areas, and you will be able to see that, okay, this is a zone where I can be reasonably safe, and I know that and not any danger is coming to me, or maybe there will be some surprise for you. But generally, when you enter an area, you should be able to tell what it's all about. That's a big part of cohesion and world building.
Nice. Oh God, we're still going right. There's still a whole other row of this, and then two more. We'll have to fly a little quicker.
Yeah, so this is another exploration of different transitions from reasonably peaceful to slightly more dangerous, where you should feel worried about. We are still exploring this, how we can tailor that to the your best experience. But yeah, this is just a quick exploration. Like, you can see that the shape and the language of color and everything is getting very serious and threatening.
All right, we'll go over here now. Sorry about this. We found
have
an easy
so
solution.
much.
No, I'm so sorry because of the scrolling, awful resolution you're getting when I do it. Sorry.
I'm trying to think about which order. I mean, I don't even know what order you've got them in, so I'm just watching as they come up.
Yeah, so this image is a good showcase for what I wanted to mention about this work, is that you can see great scale on the images, like very, very big scale, dramatic vistas, height between different environmental, like peaks of mountains, and it is actually something what we are experimenting with and working on at the moment. We have some very good tools added to the game, which allows us to play with height and height map within the game to a degree you have not really seen before from us. So that should be something very very nice to look at, and it will definitely be a visual treat for everybody visiting this new land. It's gonna be it's just gonna be something extreme.
By the way, I apologize, Auntie. I spoiled bird poo coming up apparently. So chat's fixating on bird poo.
So I can talk about that bit as well. It's actually a very important thing. It might be surprising and silly to say it, but those kind of things, if you put those little things, like imagine the concept piece, like a castle for something, and you put in like a little outhouse. You know, those little bits and bobs is just give you that very true to nature kind of real vibe to it, even if it's just a very tiny little side story. You know, it's not the main thing. It's just a little extra which makes you look at it and kind of read it as, you know, okay, so there is logic to this, there is cohesion to this. You can see and think about, you know, people, creatures, you know, living in this environment. It's not mean, it's not mint, it's not pristine, it's lived in. So there is history to it. So that's it about bird poop. So yeah,
I never thought that'd be a topic on the stream I was on, but here we are, 5 years in. I've seen a lot, and now I've seen more.
Long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And just more examples of the biome, right?
Yes, biome explorations. Again, we just want to have a push on, you know, like very nice visuals all around, tailored to what we want to create, what we want you to feel as you explore this land. And yeah, the you know, that's another very beautiful piece from Mod Barker. It's very nice explorations.
Oh, the future icon. If this isn't an icon of RuneScape coming up, I'm surprised.
Yeah,
such a cool design.
This is very nice. Mod Barker again. He had much fun creating this. So these are explorations for the character Inanna. You probably have heard about. It's a guardian of Gutix, and we have been just exploring like how she could look like. We wanted to create something, you know, obviously grand, magical, mysterious, graceful, and if we keep going, you can see that we kind of played with the idea of this entity maybe have something to do with nature, like maybe a force of nature. I'm not saying it's going to be, but it's just something what we have created. That what would be if whenever you encounter this this entity, she would take up a little bit on, you know, like on the form of the environment, or maybe how you progressing in the quest. So you kind of get a tell of how everything is shaping in the storyline, depending on, you know, like what you see her coming to you and how she's representing herself. And we have a few others as well, where she is in different kind of seasons. It's beautiful artwork.
That's so cool. I absolutely love this art style and the exploration. Obviously, it's worth saying, just to reiterate, obviously we are showing something that is very much in motion. This isn't an announcement stream, so we're showing you the process we're going through for crafting a brand new area for Gillinor. And obviously you'll have to wait and see how it all turns out in a future RS ahead or something.
You said it's not an announcement stream, but I'm fairly sure somewhere amongst these concepts there is some images that are an announcement. So I mean, I'm fine with that. But yeah,
there's little bits and bytes of information that they're gonna get. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Like really, these images are speaking for themselves. This is definitely something that we are trying to reach for in the future. And, you know, just as we look at this project as a whole, like going into some details in terms, you know, it's just basically word building. Like we are trying to make something which feels as real that you can, you know, breathe in the air and just, you know, touch the sand and the grass, and, you know, create something magnificent on the screen. Yeah, it's a new adventure, and this is just a big part of it. A very iconic character. This is an image of Havenhythe, an exploration piece where you can see the new buildings and how people live in there. Again, we are just trying to key in onto the nature of, you know, like create something intricate something fitting what we are trying to create here, lived in and very, very characterful. I think this image as well, it just speaks for itself. Like, you have
Yeah.
so much character in these buildings that it's
Is
very
that the
good.
end
Very
of
exciting.
the? I think that's the end of the Havenhythe section, right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's go to the next section. I don't know which bit Mod Ryan's hinting at, so I'm going to be surprised, I think. This should do it, right?
Depends what's being shown.
What could
guess
this
we're about to
be?
find
This
out.
looks somewhat familiar.
Yeah, so this is well, obviously this is avatars, and we talked about this at RuneFest, and we were, we couldn't give you any guarantees, and we still can't give you any dates or anything like that, but we said that this was never canned, it was shelved, and now what we can't say anything definite, and I can see Mod Hooli like being on
No,
edge.
I'm just excited we're saying this out loud.
Yeah,
Don't worry about me.
So yeah, at the moment, what we can say is that it is not on the shelf anymore. It's something, in flight, off the shelf, and we will have to talk with you and let you know when that's actually landing. But we are very actively looking at this. We are looking at all sorts of R&D, experimentation, exploration. We consider this to be as important as you all are. Like, the avatars is truly one of the central pieces of the game. It is your in-game persona. We want to make sure that it is as good as it can be when we release it, and that is part of the reason why it is due. It is due now. But when we put this on, we want to make sure that it gives you everything what you want. It gives you way more opportunities to create your in-game avatar, to make it to what you want it to be, really, and play that experience, play that power fantasy with as much as you can, customizing your characters, and this also comes. Sorry.
I was just gonna jump in and say, like, a lot of people won't know, when we put this on the shelf, it was not through want, it was through technical challenge, it was through the scale of implementation, some of the things that would hold us back. Am I right in saying, Antti, there was a lot of work over the last few years on things that have made this more possible as well, right? We've always kind of kept it in the back of our mind with tech improvements, and can we ever get this back?
Yeah, that would have been my next point, is that
Sorry.
while we are experimenting and exploring, we are actually cutting away legacy parts of our pipeline, which were very handy, like 5-10 years ago. But at the moment, we are in a day and age where they are actually hindering us. But with an update, we will be able to make that more efficient, which will not just unlock you new possibilities of what we can do with the avatar and give you a better experience, but also make our work easier and quicker when it comes to the avatar work. Yeah, it is another, like, we have so much exciting stuff, and
I know everyone would want to see every part of this. I'm trying to keep it for time, but yeah, it is incredibly exciting. And I think, looking at chat, you and the team who have put so much work into putting this back on the table, hopefully to be confirmed in a future RS Ahead or a news post, whatever it might be. We're not able to fully commit to it right now, but it is actively being worked on. I'm full of caveats today, I know, chat, but I'm trying to be responsible. But the point is, like, it's so awesome to see all that work over the years that you've been talking about. Everything we're thinking about, we're always trying to think about what we can do to maybe put this back on the table. To see us even on stream willing to go, we're pretty confident, but not quite at a point where we can 100% say yes and when. It's just so special after having to deliver that news of shelving it. It's lovely, and I love seeing chat this happy. It's great.
Like, everybody, and specifically the artists, they are like all hyped about this and very excited, because they know that, like, when we land this, like, what that is going to mean for the pipeline and for the characters what we get to create in the future. Just a very, very big thing.
There's a question in chat about RCEs and, like, when we first introduced player avatar refresh, we did like a lot of streams and we talked through the process and stuff. Should this be something we go, yes, this can be on the roadmap, yes, we can look at this for 2026, whatever it might be. If we get to that point, would you see us maybe looking to do that again? Would you want to involve the community in the feedback process again? Do you have any early thoughts on that?
100%, 100%. I 100% want this to be something that we develop together, hand in hand. Like, we are literally making like the way, the face of the game and the face of your characters, how you're going to look like. We want to make sure that it is, we make it as good as possible, and you are as happy with it as you can be, and that is going to require conversation with you. We definitely want to do the same thing what we did. You might remember we had many streams with Mod Iro
Yep.
back in the day.
Yep.
And I want to continue that. I worked more than a I think it was roughly a couple of years. I was working with Mod Iro on this project back then, and I definitely want to continue in the same vein, talking to you, bringing you news about it, updates, discussions, about your preference, everything. We are very interested in, we are making this for you, and it is going to be something that we will be working with for years and years ahead. It's going to be the new face of the game, really. So it's very important that it is excellent.
Awesome. Look, there's a lot of questions in chat about what could this mean about cutscenes and all sorts of stuff. If this is a project that we have a date for and we're on that track, as Antti said, we will be out there talking to you and involving you. At that point, we'll be able to answer questions. Right now, we just want you to know it's not on the shelf. We're trying to make it happen. We're feeling confident, and we're hopefully going to get to a point where we can say, yep, you can expect it at X time, or at least X window of time. And we'll get there as soon as we responsibly can. We just want to make 100% sure we don't find surprises like we did last time before we do that.
Yeah. What I will say though and add is things like this are obviously, we're a 25-year-old game. There is a lot to do. We are looking at these sorts of things as how can we get there in stages, in parts, because it's not about doing everything all at once. If we were to do that, that could be a multi-year project. So there is worlds where we're looking and thinking more about what is it that we can deliver at various points, and as Antti says, we'll talk with the community about how would they be happy with X. So yeah, just in terms of direction from myself and Antti, just thinking about how we want the game to look, how we can get there over time, potentially not a night and day flick a switch and everything is different, because we'd rather get there in stages that are meaningful and take you on that journey.
I'm conscious we are very up against time, but there is one more click that I know is probably what Mod Ryan meant. And I think Mod Antti, you're probably going to be very keen to show the community. What is this? I spy.
Oh, yes. Perfect. Antti, do you mind if I talk a bit for this one? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sweet. Oh, look, dies everyone.
Steal my thunders.
No, you take it. It's all right. It's all right.
No.
Okay. So yes, this concept was for the tier 95 Sanctum weapons. I believe we shared this a while ago, and then there was comments of like, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? So yes, Hooli, if you scroll slightly over, go to the in-game assets. I'll wait for the catch-up. Ta-da! So yes, as you can see, we have started working on these, and I have stolen Antti's thunder. So these are the Sanctum weapons. They are being worked on. So we're looking to in terms of our new direction, just to reiterate some things, we're working on solid content, game health updates, but equally trying to do some of the smaller things, or the things that not leaving things for so long, the sort of things we can tackle when we can. And this is just kind of one of those. In the essence of time, I'm not entirely sure on the time, but this is the Sanctum weapons. If you go slightly below Hooli, you would have seen, I think, before Hooli zoomed in, there is a concept art, which I don't believe we've ever shown this. I don't think so. Sponge might be able to confirm, but this is the Dracolich, if that's how you pronounce it, the Dracolich stuff. So this is essentially another set of gear that we're looking to dye. I think Pigeon will probably talk to later outside of the art section a bit more about our dye direction, which items get dyed, because we're not going to dye every item in the game. But yeah, so there was some Reddit posts recently, and I said, yes, we want to dye them. And then a week later, someone said, why tell us you're going to dye them if you're not going to do it? So here you are, everyone. We are doing it.
Yeah,
so
the artwork. Sorry, I'm just dropping in some names for credit. The artwork, the concept work was done by Mod Fox, and the modeling work was done by Mod Alec, I believe. And they are working on these dyes. And yeah, another bunch of awesome piece of content. Beautiful.
And I think there's just a couple in games, right, as well.
Yeah, those are the current originals what you see in game. and
Yeah.
that's just a a reference for
So as a
for those who
reference,
might not have
yeah.
seen them. But these are going to be getting the dye treatment and get turned into those awesome looking outfits.
Well, we have run over time, but for considering how much concept art you had to get through, you did an amazing job, Antti. Is there anything you want to say before we close out your section? Really appreciate the amount of effort you and the team put into just getting all these amazing things that we could show players today. Thank you so much.
Well, the only thing I would say is that we have an insane, well, a great year ahead. We have so much content and like beautiful stuff. I'm at the bad art, obviously, being on the art team. But yeah, it's going to be an extreme year with lots of beautiful stuff, very good updates, upgrades, beautiful visuals, and I'm just hyped for it, big time.
That's the hype I love to hear. Thank you so much, Mod Antti. Really appreciate all the time you took and for running over with us. And next up, we will be flipping over to another cast of characters. I'm just going to double check. It's almost certainly Mod Stu, and it is Mod Breezy as we talk about skilling. So see you in a sec. Again, we're back live. So I am going to move to our next frame, and let's say a warm welcome to Mod Stu and Mod Breezy. Hey, both. How you doing?
Hello. Great to be here.
Do you want to just introduce a little bit about who you are and what you do for those who don't know?
Sure. I'm a senior narrative designer. I've worked on RuneScape since 2012, created lots of updates. Most recently, been doing 110 skills, and well, I probably shouldn't go ahead. What do you want to say, Breezy?
Yeah, I'm Mod Breezy. I'm a designer on RuneScape. I've also been working alongside Stu, basically all these past 7 years. But yeah, been involved in various content throughout that time. Lots of skilling content.
Yeah, and you guys are at the end of a very long week. You just successfully signed off 110 crafting, ready to go next week. How are you feeling?
Very excited.
Yeah, I mean, this live stream is ideally timed because we've just released our developer diary video for it yesterday with pre-release information. We've also got the star bloom seeds out there so people can start gathering their flowers. I've been doing that myself on a couple of accounts, honestly, getting ready. And then the actual thing is going to be releasing on Monday. So at this point, it's gone through Wood QA and release candidate QA, all ready to go. We're done.
Yeah, I mean, another 110 in the books. Obviously, this one, I think particularly I was excited about the crafting guild upgrade. I think you've got some concept art of that new area as well. Obviously, people have seen it in the dev diary yesterday. What are you most excited about for people to get into, get their teeth into with this 110 crafting update? Like, what's your, like, if you could pick one thing of your favorite little child that you have right now, what would it be?
You go first, Breezy.
Tough question, to be honest. I think I really want to see how people get on with the new training method for crafting. When we designed it, we set out to create something that feels good in RuneScape and feels like you are actually crafting something and not just bank standing, making the same thing within seconds over and over again. So I'm really excited to see how people get on with it, how that all feels. Yeah.
I'm really pleased about how stacked the skill guide is. I know this is a very mechanical thing to focus on, but we have significant things getting unlocked at every level, and that's been a particularly nice thing about crafting. It's such an eclectic skill. You've got pottery and jewelry and urns and all these things. So there's a couple of leveling benefits for things like the tailoring process in there as well, but mostly it's here's some cool new thing that you've unlocked that you can now go and play with. That's kind of core RuneScape to me, so that's really good.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, this is we've done quite a few 110s now. I remember starting back with mining and smithing was like that first little toe in the water, and we got all this feedback and stuff. What have we learned through the process of making 110s? How are we feeling about them? What do we think we've taken away? How, I guess, like, what's the journey been like to go through all these 110s, and as you go and kind of think what's next, how you start approaching those too?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of it all has just been learning about what really makes them, what sort of things should they involve, and how should they work, and how should they interact with the rest of the game, as a like package of an update itself. How should it interact? What sort of rewards players really want? Those sorts of things. Focus on what makes the update sort of interesting overall, and like all the interconnected parts, and also the variety of gameplay styles that interact with it.
Yeah, I think as well. Like, I love the themes that are coming through on the 110s now as well. Right, I remember Mining Soothing. We kind of had a bit one with Primal, and I think about the Time Rune, and now with the Masterwork Magic Armor and the crafting, like it just the Star Bloom theme kind of feels like it carries through everything. Is that kind of a conscious decision for us to give it a bit more of an identity, I guess, like, and less of a kind of a it's just 10 levels. It's also like it's 10 levels with its own unique kind of vibe and theme and vision, I guess, right?
Yeah, the thematics are absolutely important. Like we always talk about when we start to set out and design these things, we always talk about how they fit in the rest of the RuneScape world and the RuneScape narrative and lore. What it will feel like, again, for a variety of people who play the game. Like if you are a long-term player and you're playing regularly, how does this update feel? Versus if you come to this like 2 years from now as a new player and you've hit level 100, how does it feel to you then? The thematics and how that ties in again to other skills and content as well is always really important.
Awesome. There's some really cool concept art and actual kind of in progress shots about the crafting guild and the new workshop that we attached to it. Like, do you want to talk to us a little bit about how this even came about? Like that you decided to add to the crafting guild as your route for this one?
Do you want to do that one, Stu?
Oh yeah, sure. Basically, we needed a hub for the tailoring process, and we were aiming to be more ambitious with the structure that we had there. So there are different skilling stations that you move around between. So they had a bit more of a footprint that it took up. So we needed some central hub for this to happen, and the crafting guild, that was the thematic appropriate place to be putting that. So in the process, also do a rework of the crafting guild, add in a couple of more useful features to it, bring it up to a higher level of fidelity, do a bit of redesign in the process, and also a fun opportunity to run a lot of examines. I think you're going to enjoy the examines.
Yes, more examines. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be good. Yeah, I think for me, that was actually one of the to me. There's something about guilds that I'll always remember, like that moment when you first go in one, when you're like your little newbie RuneScape self and you just try to get all your 99s and you finally hit that moment. It's kind of really cool to have an excuse to go back to one. I felt like it's yeah, sorry, going on a little personal around there, but I just love that. It's very cool and unique and interesting. And we got some more shots here as well. What else would you like to talk about with the 110 update here specifically? I know we're going to talk about thinking about skilling going forward and post this one. Anything else you want to talk about crafting 110 that maybe we haven't covered in the dev diaries or what have you that you'd like to talk to? Any initial feedback you've seen to the final concept that you want to talk about?
I think today will have been the first time a lot of people really saw the Masterwork outfit, which you might have scrolled by earlier.
I'll go back at the top.
Really. We haven't really shown the full sort of picture of that so far. I think there's actually some tweaks that have been made since those things as well, so it won't look exactly like this. On Monday, there's just a few like changes from internal feedback, but it's really cool. I like what we tried to do with it was think about what like players really wanted pointy hats, and they wanted traditional robes for Magic. So we took that back. We thought about like the old school style of mage armor back then, and what this could be. And then we tried to sort of mix and mingle in the sort of I don't know what to call it, but like the narrative of it. So you'll see there's like plates of armor there. The original idea that we had in mind was I don't know if I'm making this up, but I'm pretty sure back in like a post bag from the Hedge, there was like a letter about the combat triangle and something to do with how magic is strong against melee because the magic spells fry the melee user in the armor because they're wearing metal. So wanted to include metal in this, but we wanted to still sort of make that a reasonable thing. So what you do is in game is go and turn this metal ethereal essentially, and that's why it has that sort of like pearlescent look to it. That all makes sense in game, and yeah, you'll get to it. So I hope people really like it when they get to see it in game.
I did not feel like I was going to hear a deep cut post from the Hedge. Someone's like, this stream is serving bangers. It's great. Good. Amazing. Yeah, and obviously chat seems to really like the style as well. So really cool stuff.
I've got another point on the Master Armor, if that's all right.
Oh, yeah, do go. Yeah, please do.
Yeah, because I've noticed occasionally we'll do these orthographic concepts where we show it on the avatar. And players wonder, why are you using the new avatars rather than the one we currently have? Well, the whole point is that we're building these outfits for the future, so that then they'll be ready, and they'll work with the new avatar when that rolls out. So it's all about forward thinking. It's all about that progression.
And it makes even more sense after today. So
exactly. So I want to feed off what Mod Hooli was saying earlier. Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I learned something new today actually as well. Okay, so 110s, obviously a part of how we approach skilling, big kind of continual release part of our calendar at the moment. What are other ways of thinking about skilling, either in relation to the 110s or just in general, like when we think about skilling's place within the game and how we develop content for it?
Yeah, I think so. Like, first of all, I'll start by saying, like, there's a lot of focus on the 110s, especially over the past year. And we've had a little bit of skilling content aside from that, like augmented thieving and rune crafting. I know that's like something Ryan would like to speak to, for example, is still getting out skilling updates, which are for a lot more people than just the 110s are, and like sort of achieve a different thing to what the 110s do. So overall, it's still like, just in terms of skilling, it's not all just 110s, it's other stuff too, other things that will feature on Havenhythe and so on, so on and so forth. I think overall, where we're at right now is we have a almost 25-year-old game, which is just insane. We always, at the moment, discuss what it's like to look at, like, what does RuneScape skilling mean? What does it mean to skill in RuneScape? What are those interactions like? What are the levels of activity that people have? What are the reasons people do them? Is it for GP, XP, for fun, for engaging with other people, and so on and so forth? So I think that's where we're saying that now, especially as we look forward to what all the future 110s or 120s might mean, to what other skilling content might mean, and where it appears. So definitely always trying to make sure that it feels special and fits in RuneScape.
Also,
Yeah.
sorry, Mod Ryan.
I was going to add something. Yeah, well said, Breezy. Yeah, on like the 110 topic, you know, I think this is our top. This is third 110 update now.
Right?
Wait, fourth. Sorry, yes, fourth 110 update. I can't actually count off the top of my head how many skills are in that group now, because it was 2, then 3, then 1, then
7. I think.
Yeah, but yes. Anyway, sorry, that's besides the point. That I was going to reference. We want to know. You know, we want to be aware of sort of your feedback around what we've been doing with the 110s. As Breezy alluded to, I'd really like to see us doing more non-110 content as well. So like smaller skilling updates that you might have seen in previous years. You know, for example, whether it's a D&D, like your Gathixian Cache or Sinkholes, to whether it's a small skilling update like Hall of Memories, something like that. And alternatively as well, when we start looking at 110s going forward, whether or not we should just think about them holistically, and what is it that makes them 110 and what is it that makes them 120, and whether or not there are ways between that. You may have seen Mod Sponge posted recently about thieving and options with thieving, and he included in there, he said 110 or 120. And I think if you actually read that post, or at least read any post on thieving at the moment, everyone says, do heists. So like the idea of heisting banks, palaces, castles, etc. And there is a question, you know, if we did heists and added more pickpocketing NPCs, we've added some more stalls, we added some more chests, etc. So we enhanced the thieving opportunities plus a new thieving method, whether or not does that sit more in the 120 category or not. So these are sorts of things we want to engage with yourselves on and think about going forward. But yeah, I think I'm not signing Hooli up for anything yet, but I think we'll probably end up doing a proper community sort of conversation around that, not just a hey Twitch chat. What do you think?
Yeah, I think in general, like, that's kind of a philosophy we have on RuneScape a lot more, right? Is we're willing to change plans, listen, think about things differently. Like, we don't want to just lock ourselves in and commit 100% to certain things being certain ways for forevermore. Like, we always want to listen and see how the community is reacting and evolve with it, right? And at some point she might want certain things from us, and then that might change, and then we need to change. So I'd imagine it will be a thing that I've been signed up for anyway. So it's kind of part of the gig. Stu, did you have any thoughts as well from other ways of thinking about skilling, or anything that's kind of top of mind even for you as a designer?
I must admit I got distracted by the chat. Yeah, skilling's fun. Love it. It's a great part of the game. Looking forward to doing more of it.
Amazing, Stu. I will always love having you on stream. I think finally, let's make sure we talk about it because we showed it in concept art. Coming to the end of the segment, I wouldn't want to not say anything on it. Havenhythe, it's a place that has lots of different kinds of content, skilling being part of it. What's our kind of thinking going into Havenhythe when it comes to skilling? Like, do we have any thoughts, like high-level design thoughts, or anything we can share about kind of how we're approaching a new area and skilling?
One of the first things that we discussed was if this is a new area, what is it like? How do we make it still feel like RuneScape? What is it going to be like walking on this new area and like going through, traversing, discovering things? Yeah, how does that all feel like RuneScape? So that's like very much at the core what we want to do with Havenhythe is make sure that it's still like you still feel like you're playing RuneScape. It feels familiar, but obviously still new. And taking a lot of the learnings from past skilling updates again obviously into that as well. What are the interesting mechanics? How do the things tie into each other? What are the motivations for doing them? Is it GP or XP and so on and so forth? And as well as like what new things can we try as well? So is it twists on fan favorite content? Is it something completely new that we can surprise people with? There's a lot of things in there, and then as well as that is also I think as a sort of broad rule is to try and make sure that people at different skill levels can get involved in different ways or the same way. So, for example, Hunter might come out with level 100 plus content, but there will also be Hunter content, maybe using that same sort of skilling method or something similar for the lower levels as well. So again, just making sure that everyone can get involved and there's always something to do and feed into.
Yeah, some good examples of that Breezy was alluding to of you got your basic tier sort of if you run through Karamja right now in Brimhaven, you'll see like the odd mines with rocks, trees you can cut down whether they're normal logs, you've got your peak trees right somewhere on Brimhaven. And it's sort of like that sort of expected level of skilling, but also unique skilling, right? So in Karamja, you might do some deadfall traps or maybe I don't know why I picked Karamja, bad example. We could maybe go to like Anachronia, right? It's a unique hunter method there where you can hunt big game creatures. So it's essentially think about it at a base level, it should feel exactly like RuneScape. If you started playing RuneScape after Havenhythe was released, you wouldn't even know it was added after. Just the way that over the last 25 years we've expanded the map. For those of you who've played this game long enough to remember Hunter's release day, everyone was standing literally on the edge of the map with a giant black space hunting birds with bird snares. And it's that sort of idea that there'll be unique creatures not necessarily creatures, but unique things on the island that are exclusive to Havenhythe that kind of makes them unique for those skills. But you can expect your normal, I'm going to say copper and tin, for example, just as a reference.
Oh, great. Look, I almost talked over you on that. Chat, we are running behind because we all want to get super deep into everything going on, but that's a little window into what's going on. Obviously, we've got more stuff coming up on the skilling front. As announced in our roadmap, we are really excited to hopefully get an opportunity to maybe talk to these guys about the release of 110 crafting after that happens. For now, I just want to say Mod Stu, Mod Breezy, thanks so much for joining us. And I hope the release date goes well and players love it, and all of you at home are having a ton of fun as well. It's almost here. Check it out on Monday. So finally, we are going to be joined by a member of the combat team, Mod Pigeon, and a member of the QA team, Mod Iago, to talk through what's going on in their areas. So be right back in a second. Hello, we're on the last segment. Oh, there's been so much to get through. It's been awesome. Pigeon, Iago, hello. Do you want to introduce yourselves and what you do at Jagex? Oh, you're fine. Well, apparently people can't hear you, so give us a second. You're not echoing because no one can hear you. He just dropped news about the next major update.
You're good. I'll tell you what, Mod Pigeon, you can do your intro while we wait.
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I'm Mod Pigeon. you may have heard of me from previous updates, such as Sanctum of Rebirth, Combat Master Achievement, most recently Masterwork, the game designer. Yeah, I'm sure I'm about to talk about a mascot boss, but hopefully Iago has this mic working now. Otherwise, I will just keep going.
Find out.
I'm
don't
guessing
think so.
not.
Pigeon. So
I'll just talk about a mascot boss.
Pigeon. Obviously, you're here as one of our main combat devs. As you said, you've got a bunch of things that you've released of recent that are super, been super killer. Really, frankly. What are you working on right now?
So since Masterwork went out, or Masterwork and Legendary Weapons, I've been coming over to a mascot boss and looking at reward. So I think at RuneFest we talked about them a little. I think if we didn't announce them,
Wait, hold on. Which ones are you talking about?
I swear I checked the wiki. There's 3 things.
I love that we're using the wiki to check what we've announced. There's something wrong there. It's very RuneScape, but no.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's a halberd on there. I'm gonna get a death stare from Mod Ryan otherwise, that I'm very excited about. And and a necromancy siphon. I think we've announced that, and then some magic armor. Pretty sure we announced that.
Yeah, everything you mentioned.
So Mod Pigeon is now in a dilemma of trying to make sure anything that you say out loud is announced. I love it. The pressure.
But yeah, I'm in the process of designing those and implementing those right now. It's been really cool. Getting stuck into a mascot boss. Before this, I was only really doing playtests. So basically, since the mascot started, we've been running internal playtests with the combat team. Every week, we're iterating, making sure it's fun, getting it feeling great. It's been really hard, like not as a designer, but as a player. A mascot is hard. We've been going in, same team pretty consistently. This is intentional, so we kind of improve together. We get to know our roles, our method, pretty much, how any release day team is going to do it. Week in, week out, been some of the most satisfying combat gameplay I've had in my time playing RuneScape. I think, not to hype it up, but I'm hyping it up. It reminds me of like release day Solak, or like, well, say Solak is my number one experience. I'm sure Iago possibly has other things to input there.
That's a good choice. I hope my mic is working now. I think it is.
It is, I think. Chat, can you hear Iago?
Yeah, nice.
Okay, it's working. There you go.
As a sort of little introduction there, Solak was probably the last boss I think I worked on. But as a quick introduction, I'm Mod Iago. I'll have to redo the joke now, which was a lot of people think that it's the parrot from Aladdin. It is not. What it actually means, I'm not going to tell you. That's going to be a mystery. Solak was one of the last bosses I worked on, archaeology as well. But now, I'm the associate QA director, so looking after the QA team and everything we do there around automation, playtesting, getting the player voice into the projects and so on.
Awesome. We got some really exciting stuff to talk about there as well. I didn't realize that was like you'd worked on Solak as well. I didn't realize that was your last boss you worked on.
That was me and Ramen. Day one was epic. Me and Pigeon, I think yesterday, were talking about one of the bugs actually, with Venge. And what an insane bug that was, with how players sort of skipped the final phase using Venge and taking huge amounts of damage, and it was great.
I'm super excited to see what the community cooks up for that world's first race as well. As you were saying, Pigeon, so you from your experience, you think it's some of the most satisfying and very difficult, and you're willing to say that on stream. So I'm guessing you're feeling pretty confident.
I'm personally very confident. Mod Ramen's probably behind the scenes like, oh, what's he saying? But I'm very confident in it.
Mod Ramen's always like, do not say it's the hardest boss ever, or do not compare it to another boss, and we've just broken that rule.
Oh, I've done both of them, haven't I?
It's because he once upon a time said, if you solo this boss, I think he said I'll out my blue pie hat or something. I think that was he doesn't make promises anymore, or those comments. But I think as well, just to talk a bit to the mascot project, because someone mentioned in the chat earlier. So I was working on a mascot with Ramen. with my new responsibilities and roles, I'm no longer working on it directly. You know, I'm more oversight of the team and bigger picture things. But it's yeah, from what I've was part of and also what I see now, very exciting to see the team bringing it together and what they're doing with it. And yeah, it should be exciting. And as Pigeon says, well, we just look forward to seeing how it works out on release day and seeing what strategies people cook up and stuff like that.
Yeah, that world first moment, like it's going to be, especially with the kind of the way the release is working, it's going to be so fun to just like cook up a big moment, and hopefully a ton of you come and watch it. We're hoping that this is like a big spectacle of our best PVMers putting on a show, probably getting really frustrated. Someone breaks through, maybe some unknown. Like those are the things I love to see, and I cannot wait for release day to see the talent in this PVM community, especially. Like if we can thwart them for a decent amount of time, job done. But it's going to be a big challenge, I think. Don't envy you. Look, beyond a mascot, obviously we'll talk about a mascot when there's a time and a place. Thanks for giving us a little bit of an insight on how it's going, at least, and how you're feeling about it. What are our thoughts on the current state of combat? Where's our kind of head out on what's important, what we're most thinking about, anything we're thinking that we'd love to change or shuffle in the meta? Just keen to kind of get a picture of where the combat team's head is, really, Pigeon.
I mean, there's always improvements we want to make, right? We're looking to split our time a bit better now between kind of game health updates. Like, I'm sure someone in the chat will mention bleed, or some other smaller non-specifically combat stuff, like combat-related content. So one of the things we've been looking at is unifying ascension keys. So you'll see a number of posts on Reddit about sort of how annoying having 6 ascension keys is, especially if you're an Iron Man. Condensing those down into one, kind of removing that feel bad factor to it, or things like removing the raids lockout. It's a really cool idea in practice, but nowadays we probably want people to be dropping in, dropping out of combat, rather than having to wait a couple of days. And then, you know, doing some really good cleanup, removing some of the unused abilities, maybe reworking them. I've talked to people before about, you know, making Massacre the old EZK spec and then rebalancing it. We want to remove some of the noob traps in combat, give them a bit more nuance, make new combat encounters, you know, make good on previous commitment, like dyed combat gear.
It's good.
Which is definitely a segue.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, just to go back real quick just to add there, you talk about, Pigeon talks about looking at the early game abilities and noob traps, etc. So I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, from a direction standpoint, we really want to look at our game and understand its core problems, and while delivering awesome content throughout the year, really like leaning into game health, doing what you may be familiar from old school, like summer sweep ups or project rebalance, like rebalancing what needs rebalancing, removing what doesn't need to be in the game, removing those complexities, tweaking complexities, because we want to make the game as inviting as we can for new and turners. And the early game combat is one of those good examples of something we can be looking at. We've learned a lot from things like necromancy, but yeah, Pigeon, Ramen, Sponge, they've got this all planned out, all the combat changes. No pressure.
It is one of the things I love that we're doing more of, though, is like more reactiveness. It feels like we're finding more time for the small things. You know, we often get you know, negative feedback quite fairly that, hey, why are you fixing this 3 years later? It's nice that we're focusing on those things more in the moment. I think, Pigeon, the way you reacted to the feedback around the masterwork kind of update and some of the things that people didn't like after launch that we needed to fix, that you quickly got fixed, like, I think that's the RuneScape we want to be, right? As best we can, respecting the fact that we've still got all this content to make. But is it fair to say that applies to content? Am I being over bold here and over promisey?
No, I think we need to find the best mix we can to update our older content, and update our older content is probably the wrong way to say it. Make our content as inviting as possible and do new things. Getting that mix perfect is challenging, but it's something we're ready to do.
Awesome. That's what I love to hear. So, thinking of future improvements or meta changes, is there anything you'd like to shift in the meta today? Is there any kind of focus for where we're thinking? And like, even if it's just your own personal thoughts, what you love to see changed? Just any insight into the combat team's mentality.
So I think generally we don't like adding power without there being a difficulty spike. So we're okay with adding power with a mascot. Admittedly, masterwork is a little bit of an outlier in that. but it was kind of a game health update we needed to do. Personal opinion, I'm okay with a style being a top dog for a little while. Like for the last couple of years, ranged has been, top of the food chain, and then we've introduced little things like tanks and reward, legendary weapons. We want to get to a place where it feels like players can choose whatever style they want, but the nature of these things, something is always going to be better. Somebody's going to crunch the numbers. Somebody's going to find that range does 0.1% more damage, or necro does 0.1% more damage. I think generally that's fine. That's personal opinion, but I think we want to be at a stage where you can take anything, you can have fun, you can use whatever you want to use, and still do generally quite well.
Yeah, the hardcore PVMers are definitely min maxers. You're right, that 0.1% counts. But someone who's a scrub like me, great. It's brilliant. As long as I can use what I'm comfortable with, brilliant. You'll
find that at the moment, generally speaking, high level for the combat styles is in a pretty good place from let's say a relatively balanced state across the styles, all with their own nuances. Like range has a lot more up front, let's say skill expression with all the arrows, etc. Mage has a bit more of with the latest changes, it's more closer to range, but has its own nuances and then obviously necromancy. Won't necessarily talk to melee specifically here, but Easy K made a good difference as well for certain things there. And I think when you look at styles from a top end, I'm going to preach it kind of from the direction standpoint, they're in pretty good places, but you will see the occasional thread that comes up on Reddit. Like there was literally one the other day where someone said the actual gear progression throughout melee sucked. And if you look at the early game to mid game to even just between say 1 and 80 or 1 and 70, the other styles that aren't necromancy, they've kind of suffered from being 25 years of content with no clear path. That's the sort of thing which I think we want to put a focus on. So not again, just ideas, but think of things like on Havenhythe, maybe we'll look to tackle some things of your more I don't want to call them world bosses, but you could think of a bit more like a grounded level combat encounter, similar to what you probably got with like Osseous. So we don't need something that can maybe fill like the level 40 slot. It's like the level 40 boss to go and kill, and it's a giant bear in the forest, for example. These are the sorts of things where these updates are ultimately less expensive to make as well, because, creating a tier 40, hypothetically a bear boss, is not necessarily doesn't need necessarily the amount of investment as something like an endgame boss like a mascot does. But we want to lean more into that. I think a lot of if you look at our boss content minus Osseous and Rex Matriarchs, I guess in recent years, we're always looking to do the next big boss. We want to sort of bring in, it's the same thing for not just combat, skilling, quests. Like you said, do the big quests, but do the smaller quests. Do the big skilling updates, but also do the smaller skilling updates. I think we want to lean back into that. And that's kind of where the sort of direction we want to go in.
Awesome, very good. Conscious Iago is sitting here very patiently. I just guess, Pigeon, is there anything else you would like to talk about on combat before I hand over to Iago?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I didn't talk about dyes yet, but yeah, we know it's been difficult to figure out what will and won't get dyed in the past, and everyone asking for masterwork to get dyed. We've kind of been doing some preparation for bringing some of those dyes out, as Mod Hooli has shown off. We've created a rule set. Our ruling is pretty much that gear primarily derived from skilling, so your masterwork, your primals, they wouldn't be dyeable. But items that come from primary combat sources, so your vestments, your tanks and weapons, Dracolich, that kind of stuff, they are dyeable, or will be dyeable in the future.
There you go. You got your dye commentary as well as your look at the dyes. Great stuff. Thank you, Pigeon. Iago, I apologize that we're getting very close to the end of the stream.
Oh, good.
But we couldn't not give a little love to QA, right? There's a lot of you that put a lot of time and effort into making sure that our releases are as polished as possible by identifying all these bugs. For the development team, I guess, tell us about what's going on in the QA world. It just feels like we need to be giving you a little love. We don't often get you on stream.
Yeah, it's definitely good to sort of come out here and sort of represent the craft. I think to sort of simplify everything we do in short is obviously making sure that these experiences are as polished, as refined for the players and what they want. And that will be, feedback, that will be balancing runs, that will be, finding the bugs and making sure they get squished. and improving things like how we playtest and how we get feedback from different groups, so that all voices are heard from the different sort of groups of players. So yeah, we spend a lot of time in those sort of areas, helping the design team, art team, etc., make everything as good as it can be.
Yeah, and I know you've been working with Mod Hooli on the community team on some little projects. Do you want to talk through about like how QA is trying to also bring player voice into what you do and all the hard work you do?
Yeah, for sure. So like you said, Mod Hooli sort of set the foundations here as well, and helped us get this up and running. But we do have a sort of a group of players, which we call the sort of player champion group, which is that voice from the community that we try and bring into our development processes, from hopefully in the near future as well, getting earlier feedback on the builds and the user experience of projects. But as of right now, they're sort of helping us with things like our bug prioritization. So this is more sort of business behind the scenes sort of jargon, but when we submit bugs into our backlog, there's like severity ratings and things of how bad is this bug, how important is it. And what we found is, like, with their help, is we were prioritizing these things, we were looking at them the wrong way. So we're trying to get that voice in so that we can make sure that we're fixing the right things, and just making sure we're delivering on banger after banger when it comes to patch notes.
Yeah, I
think
think
super helpful. Really appreciative of those group of players.
Yeah, and I hope you're feeling that our patch notes, it looks like from the feedback, feel like they're getting more and more in tune with what you want to see, and that we'll be a bit quicker. I think the other thing is, like, this is like a first step on how we can do this in a way that works today. We totally are thinking about how we could expand that too, right? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
this is like just how we use a select group of voices to help guide us on prioritization, but like, where could we go with that? Could we have something that's publicly available and voted on, or a bigger group, or a rotating group of people? We're super early in.
It's all a balancing
yeah.
act, right? Making sure that we have that representation from all these different groups of players and so on.
So just know your patch notes, your quality of life, the things you asked to see more from us, they are top of mind, and we've been working on doing it. And big credit to Modiago for all the work that he's been putting into it with Mod Hooli as well. It's a really cool little partnership between the two teams.
Do you want to very quickly talk about the Fix It Friday and just cover that as well?
Yeah, go for it. That's another cool thing that we're doing now. Yeah.
Yeah. So Fix It Friday. I suppose what's the simplest way to explain this? It's like playing RuneScape on a Friday night. You're chilling in the Soul Lobby chatting. Somebody calls Scarab's World 71, and they're fresh, and everyone just swarms to go and squash those bugs. That is our Fix It Fridays. We're there to fix them, to get as many updates and bug fixes, feedback out as possible. And obviously we're trying to deliver on all these big updates as well, but it's really important that we don't forget the bugs, we don't forget the quality of life, we don't forget those sort of fixes that you might have seen out of the past, of like Ninja Team and so on. I've said the ninja word now, but bring those back in and make sure we don't lose them. So that's what that process is for, and making sure that we're constantly delivering those improvements for a seamless experience.
Yeah, the numbers coming out of that thing have been crazy as well. So it's been really cool. And again, just keeping the fact that, to your point, Mod Ryan, game health, right? It's not just new content; it's game health.
Yeah, absolutely. And Iago, as you mentioned, with the sort of Fix It Fridays we've been tackling, and his really good analogy. I don't have a good one for this, but essentially, when we talk about game health as well, other than the fixes of bugs, there's also, let's say, small quality of life fixes. And as we start putting a bigger focus on game health going forward and committing to it over the course of 2026, as an example, we're going to start rounding those up and potentially looking to bring those into these sorts of scenarios like Fix It Friday. So things that you'd see that Pigeon mentioned earlier, like Ascension keys, unifying them, they're the sorts of little things that players often mention, but they never really happen because they're not prioritized. This is the sort of time where we're going to start gathering all of this up and can consider prioritizing it.
I can maybe just give two small reveals of our last Fix It Friday.
Go on, do it.
We had,
more announcements. Who cares?
We had Mod K9, I think, worked on a bunch of accessibility fixes, right? And those are things that might not hit on the top of the roadmap, but they are really important that we deliver on. I think we had Mod Strike as well do a bunch of like quests, quality of life improvements. So those are the type of things we can also bring into that and make sure we're still delivering on them.
Yeah. Sure, there's a group of combat players who are like, please, can we just sit on stream all day and talk about combat? We will look at doing those for sure. We just wanted to get a bunch of people from across the team to check in on what's going on, so you know what the team's working hard on. So thank you both, Mod Iago and Mod Pigeon. Really appreciate you coming by.
Thanks.
Thanks.
My mic is dead.
Your mic is dead. Is this another
you
one
hear
of
me?
do I get to take over again?
Yeah.
Maybe I get to take over. Can you hear me? Oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, I'm back. I can protect everything. Mod Ryan, obviously, we're checking out. Look, I think, I hope firstly, thank you for spending all this time with us today. There's a couple questions that I think Mod Ryan wants to get to before we check out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hot in the UK right now. It's not a question. My office at home is not made for this heat. So yeah, just some things I saw in the chat that I did want to cover. Someone asked about soul dyes, aurora dyes, and there were some comments on inverted skill capes. I think I just wanted to add a bit to my views of us going forward. I've kind of already added it, but spoke to it, so you may have to. Sorry, you distracted me by moving your camera. May have to. I will talk to this over time as I keep communicating with the community. But things like soul dye and aurora dye, we constantly see people say, "When are you going to add them to game content?" And as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we're just thinking about these sorts of items, some of the MTX items, and what does it do to the game health, and things that I want to focus on as well here is just thinking about how we can implement those. And this is just a complete example of an idea that Mod Sponge actually had. He said, maybe, why don't we do seasonal clue scrolls? Clue scrolls that are only available, say, in the Christmas period. And if you do those, you might have access to the aurora dye. Maybe during the Halloween period, you get access to the soul dye. Just as an example of ways that we can include those, but maybe not just adding to the existing drop table, because it doesn't necessarily change sort of the time period of those. That's just an example. And then the inverted skill capes, I'm speedrunning this. People mentioned the chat inverted skill capes. So we've spoken about that on and off, I think. I don't recall entirely what the last bit of information was.
It was me at TwitchCon.
Was it you at TwitchCon? Oh, yeah, it was you at TwitchCon, yes. So the latest I can give on that is, yes, we are adding them via a gameplay update. So I think we last time said you said they're not coming from like leagues or a fresh
It will
start
not be
world or
in
something.
leagues or this year, but I said
okay, you said that.
Probably expect them in 2026.
Okay, so yeah, you can definitely expect them in 2026. We are tying the idea of inverted skill capes to the anniversary of RuneScape. And I don't mean the 25th anniversary, I mean the anniversary, its birthday. So consider what we're looking at the moment is ways to earn inverted skill capes, sort of like as in a yearly like during the anniversary each year, you have an opportunity to earn them in some way. So think of it how you have double XP 4 times a year, inverted skill capes one opportunity a year during a period of time to sort of earn them. And it's something you can work at each year. I don't have too much more information at this stage. It's not on me necessarily to design this, but this is kind of the idea that we're looking at right now. I wanted to drop that because someone in the chat said, "Can you?" And I said, "Okay." So
I love that you drop it as well, because I made that commitment on Reddit that I was like, I will not give up this. I will not give up this fight to make sure we get them out again. We promised, and big credit to you and the rest of the designers working on it for actually making it happen. It's really freaking awesome that we're finally getting to them. Right, okay, I guess that is time to wrap the stream. Mod Ryan, thank you so much for being with us for the whole time and running along with us. I know you've got things to get to and you're being cooked alive in your studio, but I really appreciate it. To all of you, thank you so much for joining us. I hope this window showed just how much is still going into the game and how much we're all still passionate and working on it. We still have really big ambitious plans. Really looking forward to showing you what is ahead beyond our current roadmap, which is still happening in full in our next RS ahead at some point in the future. And obviously, as we talked about, you can expect news on what our next actions on the road to change for MTX and what we might be doing. You can expect to hear about that. All things stay the same in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, you'll be really happy with what we come out with and kind of the level of clarity and action you will see from us on that. And then, yeah, obviously, player avatar, it's being worked on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, sometime soon you can hear from us going, yes, it's happening, and you can expect it. But we wanted to let you know that that's a project in motion now as well. Either way, a big thank you to all the JMods that joined us today. A big thank you to the community for bearing with us while we just gave a bit of time to be respectful of those who are no longer with us and just do this at the right time. We know you want these answers as soon as possible, and thank you for being so understanding of that. To everyone, have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you very soon on a RuneScape live stream. Take care, everyone.
Thank you,
See you soon.
guys.
Oh, wait, I've been reminded. We are raiding. Thank you. We're going to Edmonds. So if you would like to join and stick around and support a RuneScape creator, please go to Edmonds. We're about to head on over to them and give them a raid. So let's watch some RuneScape content together after this, shall we? Let's do it. Raid.